I always like to do the head and neck exercise before I meditate, so if you'd like to do it with me, you just drop your head to your chest 3 times. So you go down and up 3 times. 1, very gently. 2, 3. Now to your right shoulder 3 times. Now to the left shoulder 3 times. 3. Then all the way around to the right 3 times. 2. 3. Now all the way around to the left 3 times. 1. 2. 3. Now we're going to do a chant, and just, it's call and response. And don't think about what you sound like. It's really very simple and beautiful. So you'll be beautiful in it. I am, I am. I am, I am. All of life is a miracle. All of life is a miracle. Dance to the music of all life. Dance to the music of all life. Dance to the music of all life. Feel the rhythm of I am. Feel the rhythm of I am. Love flows through me. Love flows through me. Love flows through me. I am, I am, I am. I am, I am, I am. I am, I am, I am. 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 All of life is a miracle. All of life is a miracle. All of life is a miracle. Dance to the music of all life. Dance to the music of all life. Love flows through me. Love flows through me. I am, I am, I am. I am, I am, I am. I am. I am. I am. I am, I am. All of life is a miracle. All of life is a miracle. Om, 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 Om.
I've had a number of calls this week regarding the coronavirus, as you might imagine. And one longtime member of the congregation, a friend as well, called me up and said, what am I going to do? He drives for Uber and makes what he needs to survive driving. He does other things, but to make money. But he's not one of these people that are very well off. And he said, my partner doesn't want me to drive while this particular epidemic is going on. She's worried that I might bring it home and all of that. And she's more frail than I am, I guess. She thinks in her mind she is. So, have you got any suggestions? And I told him that Baba Ram Das, and we're at that place now when I talk about Baba Ram Das, he was a contemporary of mine, a guru, and I think most people still know of him as a spiritual guru, but maybe you don't. Well, he was a spiritual guru. I'll tell you an interesting story about him. He was involved with Timothy Leary when Timothy Leary was doing all of those particular non-establishment things with LSD. And Ram Dass was involved with Leary and some of that. And when Ram Dass went to India, and I guess to get involved with a guru over there, when he drove on, he rented a Land Rover, and he drove, and the got to this guru, and this guru said to him, right off the bat, give me all of your drugs. And Ram Dass was taken back because he had brought some drugs with him. But the guru immediately knew, and he said, give me all of your drugs. And so that was the first moments already that Ram Dass had hesitation, felt resistance to this particular spiritual guru that he was going to see. But Ram Dass tells this story that I shared with my friend on the phone about our spiritual journey, because some of what is taking place now with the coronavirus, people are saying, well, what does Unity believe about that? And in Unity, we understand the power of the mind. So we're caught in a kind of catch-22, because if you say you believe in the power of the mind, then if you don't give any attention to the coronavirus, you won't have any problem with it. And that's one of the beliefs that, and especially here at Unity of Boulder, we strongly believe in spiritual awareness, spiritual healing, spiritual intention, spiritual right action. And when you align your life with this more refined intelligence, you get to that place. But this fellow who's been in Unity quite a while, asking me, what is he going to do? Should he acknowledge the coronavirus, or should he go out and drive anyway and take his chances? His greatest fear was not the coronavirus, but his live-in partner. She was not happy that he would do this, so he wasn't going to drive. But he said, so what should we do about the coronavirus? And I said, when Ram Dass was in India, he was living in an ashram, and just beyond the ashram was this very narrow street. Very narrow, nothing like we have here in the States, and little outdoor marketplaces along the street, but it was very, very narrow. And there was an elephant that would be released up at the top of the street. The owner of the elephant would just release him. The elephant would go lumbering down the street and go to the place where they had to work. The elephant was hired to move logs, and the owner of the elephant just let him run down the street, and he would catch up to him later. And Ram Dass said, every now and then I'd be on that street when that elephant was coming down. And I knew from my spiritual understanding that both the elephant and I are just energy. But I ducked into a doorway anyway. Whenever I saw that elephant coming down the street, I got into a doorway. So, and that's the kind of thing I think that I shared this with my friend who thought it was very helpful. That, and I've had people come in and say, well, what's going on? Why are you people saying we shouldn't shake hands on Sunday and all of this? And is that the Unity point of view? Well, Unity Worldwide, the organization that oversees the ministries of Unity throughout the United States and the world, actually contacted all the ministries and said, we're going to observe all of the scientific precautions that they're suggesting in order to try to, withstand bringing more of this virus into activity in people's lives. So it's what we said on Sunday, and then we've had some other repercussions since then about what Unity believes and what we are to do. But I think it's about the elephant. Unity of Boulder is still a part of a wider community. And in the wider community, there are people that are believing in many limited things that we don't embrace, but they do. And one of the things that many of these people believe in is this coronavirus and the illness that can come from it, and the possible death, even though it's on a very small percentage. So we are honoring that. because we're part of the human community. And we don't see ourselves as standing apart from it. We will honor that. So we'll go through all the precautions that the greater community requests us to go through. And this also goes along with our spiritual practice, because in our spiritual practice we say that true peace is the goal. If you have true peace, you can only have true peace if you have complete understanding of reality. You cannot have true peace unless you have complete understanding of reality. You may have a partial peace here and there, which you interpret as peace, but most of that will have to do with you personally getting what it is you thought you should get out of a particular situation. So for a little while you said, okay, I'm okay with that. That's the limited consciousness that we are transcending, or in the process of transcending. The idea that one should get his or her own way is the way we grew up. If you get your own way, of course, you have peace. You're okay with that. But when you don't get your own way, there's negative emotions involved and sometimes negative action. But true peace is universal. It doesn't vary. It's not modulated. There isn't sometimes it's okay, or a lot of, or less of. True peace is the measure of one's spiritual understanding. And you can measure your own understanding just by tuning into yourself and ask yourself how often you have peace, and possibly how often you don't have peace. It means that you're still vacillating between the initial level of consciousness in which we were born and raised and educated, and the universal dimension of consciousness. So it means that your allegiance, your understanding, your mind is not settled in the universal yet. You may be seeking it, but you're allowing yourself to be pulled away from it. But you see, the decision to go along with what is being requested, and that brings peace. And so it isn't necessarily what one actually espouses to believe in or want to believe in, but it is a way of peace. Now, in the initial state of consciousness, people are going to take real issue with this. Course in Miracles says something to the effect that even if your brother asks you, or your sister asks you to do something outrageous, do it. Otherwise, you're operating on the same limited level, because if that person is requesting of you something and you're not willing to do it, you're resisting that request even though it's outrageous. They're not talking about some evil or some crime. They're talking about, let's sit at the back dinner table tonight because it's quieter back there. No, I'd rather sit up here because I want to be able to see the game on television. Oh, I know you've watched the game 100 times. Can we just sit in the back where it's quieter? No, I really want to sit up here where the well, that's the kind of outrageous thing we're talking about. Your friend says, let's sit in the back. You want to watch the game. In the initial limited state of consciousness, you're clinging to your personal desires and wants, and you're clinging to them over the desire for universal consciousness or peace. So you're not giving in because you're still not awake enough to know how important it is to be able to have true peace. Because I will tell you, with true peace comes true intuitive insight that will make your life work so much better. And with true peace comes healing. If you have true peace, what starts to happen is the blockade or the blockages to the natural flow of energy through your mind, through your body, that natural flow becomes greater and greater, and thereby changes and heals whatever physical limitations may be available or there in your physical expression or your physical body. Just ask yourself when I'm saying this, do you believe in the possibility of this? You don't have to go head over heels and say, I believe it so totally, totally. Just believe in the possibility of it. Because you might be at that place where you're still experimenting with it. And that's good, because that's where we all start. We start by experimenting with our own awareness and taking to task our own awareness. And someday we go to the restaurant and somebody says, can we sit in the back, please? It's quieter. You say, oh, sure. Even though you have like $10,000 riding on the basketball game. How many people here have ever bet $10,000 on anything? Probably not many of you, you know. But so, here we are. Listen to the words of the Master. When I say the words of the Master, you have to understand something, that among the words of the Master are these thoughts. Can this seeming lowly carpenter, who is only a symbol of the reality of the Christ within all of us, this lowly carpenter could stand up and say to those people that were around him, my words will never go away. So if you're thinking historically, and if you're thinking totally historically and only historically, you're still in the limited state of consciousness. But if you are, just think about that. This upstart carpenter's son says, my words will never go away. Heaven and earth could pass away before my words will go away. And obviously, if you're thinking historically, then Jesus was right. But he also said this, my peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world give I this peace unto you. Whoa, just that line. Not as the world gives peace, give I you this peace. So here's this ultimate understanding that in the consciousness of the world and the thinking of the world, a person has peace when his or her desires, expectations, dictates, demands are being met. And so we say, oh yeah, I had peace. I have peace. Yeah, you have peace as long as things are meeting your expectations. But can you have peace when conditions and circumstances and people are not meeting your desires and expectations? Can you have peace? You can't have it unless your divine nature, the Christ in you, is rising into your conscious level of awareness. You can't have it. You're still going to give in. You're still going to go for what you want. I need to have this. Look, it's just this time. No. This is what is being said. The symbol of the Christ in you and the Christ in life is Jesus. We had to have a man to hang our hat on and our beliefs on in history, because we believe in history and time and space. And so everybody's hanging out in this initial state of consciousness thinking, well, Christ is going to come for a second time. And as the Buddhists say about Buddha, if you see Buddha on the road, kill him. Same thing with Christ. You see Christ on the road, kill him. Because you can't see Christ outside yourself. and not be still in the consciousness of deception. Christ is the eternal, universal consciousness that we were gifted in creation. We were made in the image and likeness of the flawless beingness of God, or the nature of God. And the nature of God is defined as Christ. And so in our beginning stages, in our early stages of life, we had to think in terms of history, time, space, and physical parameters. And we had to have this figure who was called the Son of God. And of course, we couldn't see any of the subtleties in the Bible at that time, because most of the people in our Sunday schools and our ministers, which are still today, not themselves enlightened, were not able to reveal to us that at some point Christ disappears as a man, totally, boom, gone. Because it is only an illusion that we have of time, space, and conditions and circumstances that appear to be outside of us. There is a real dimension of awareness where you are so filled with the awareness of being peace. You recognize that when other people are around you, you see in them that which they do not even see in themselves. Because you are in your consciousness of peace, you are bestowing peace and seeing peace in them, even though they may not see it in themselves and they may not see it in you, who is bestowing peace. But the whole object of our experience in choosing peace is to know if I am truly in peace, what has really happened? Here we go. You're standing on the precipice right now. We're here. We're standing on the edge of this cliff, 1,000 feet down to the ocean and the rocks below. You're standing there. And what I'm about to say is, step off. And here's how I'm going to say it. What actually happens when true peace is all I want and all I will bestow? What has actually happened? I have surrendered the illusion of being a separate, special, ego, person, body. I have said, I no longer need this. I no longer need to be acknowledged. I no longer need to even be seen. I no longer need to get what used to be my need to get my own way or to be considered special. I don't need that because I feel so full of joy in having true peace. I am willing to be anywhere, do anything, as the universe says to me, in any given situation, be present here. And wherever you are present without that illusionary self that is saying, oh, we could be doing something better right now, or we should be doing more to get this business going, or it could be more important, or you could be considered more popular, or you could get this, or you could get that. And so all of the striving that goes with the initial state of consciousness that holds us in anxiety and fear and concern and wonder and confusion, all of that, you stood on the end of the cliff and you said, you know what? Do I really need all of that anymore? Or would I really be lifted and feeling wonderful by not wanting, not fearing, not grasping, not judging, not running, just letting. Would I be really in a better place just letting the moment be what it is? Phew. That is the classic death of the illusionary self. And it is an illusion. And when you get to having true peace, and you recognize what an illusion it is, you almost, and quite often you will laugh. You'll just laugh at it. You'll laugh at all of the different arguments you had, and struggles you had, and conflicts you had, and fears you had. You'll laugh at it all. So, in relationship to that, this book, 3 books, channeled by, can you imagine that it takes 3 books? Why would it take 3 books like this, big books, that took almost 7 years to write, day after day after day? Why would it take all these big books? Because it has to be said in so many different ways, over and over and over again, what it is we need to hear and finally embrace. That we are divine beings, and we've been born into a limited dimension of awareness to work our way out of that. But it needs to be said over and over again that peace is the goal, true peace. So it'll say it here. This is in the old text. And here's another word that, most of the people in the Western culture, and not necessarily into the traditional Christian church, this word is also a concerning word. Salvation. Because the Christian church uses this without ever really understanding it. But they use it sometimes as some type of instrument to create a certain amount of fear, to make you open up, to support the church a little more financially. We could use some of that in Unity. We don't use it. I'm thinking about getting a white collar. Do you think it would work? It's not going to work. Well, we're sitting around trying to think of this. I won't have any peace until I do. Here's A Course in Miracles. Salvation is for the mind, and it is attained through peace. This is the only thing that can be saved, and the only way to save it. Any response other than love arises from a confusion about the what and the how of salvation. And this is the only answer. Never lose sight of this, and never allow yourself to believe, even for an instant, that there is another answer. For you will surely place yourself among the poor, who do not understand that they dwell in abundance and that salvation is come. So all we are involved in really is taking to task our usual level of awareness, the initial state of consciousness, which we take to task. And by taking it to task, we begin to see the opportunities of stepping into a more expanded dimension of awareness. And that takes faith to step into a more expanded level of awareness. And with each step you take, there is that surrender of the illusion. Until one day it's not a question of surrender. It's a question of the joy that you no longer will let go of. You will be God conscious. So tonight we're going to meditate together. We'll start with our Tibetan bowls and allow these bowls, which are calibrated to the energy centers, that 7 energy centers that are called the chakras in Eastern religion. They actually are energy centers in consciousness, but they also are related to the expression, the physical expression in the physical world. So we can just let these bowls that are calibrated to those energy levels take us to a nice, gentle place. There is no consternation, no conflict here. You could meditate just by saying, I am here now at peace. I'm satisfied with this moment totally. There's nothing else that I want. There is only God. So you could use that, but if you don't have a particular meditation technique, when we get to the spiritual side of the meditation where we're taking on that silence, you can say, there is only one everything. In you, in me, in everything we see, there is only one. Only God. Let us take a few moments to pray for those who have been submitted to our prayer list. Norma will call the name, and tonight we're going to use the positive affirmative thought, you're okay. But we're just going to use the word okay. Okay. So with each name, just feel that divine affirmative idea going to the person whose name is called. You're okay. Okay. Okay.
Robert David Edmonds. Jeffrey Kevin Edmonds. Sarah Edmonds. Heather Bilyeu. Ruth Muller. Gretchen Williams. Kendra McNamara. The victims of the coronavirus. David Wow. Melinda Nyansik. Robin Harris. Mira Morrison. Robert C. Sue Balego. Sue Hickey. Ilona. Sandy. Lori. Tim. Kate Beltrami. Dan James. Linda White. S. Daniel. Nico. Gail Wagner. Steve Taylor. Diane S. The United States government. The air, water, earth, all of life created by our Creator. And you can call out a name at this time. Del Bigtree and family. Sanders. You see this healing light surrounding the prayer box and all the people whose names that have been submitted. We see them healed physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Let us bring to mind our Boulder community and everyone sharing this community with us, and allow this divine blessing to go into the consciousness of all of our neighbors in Boulder. You are okay. You are whole. And let us feel that blessing going out to everyone in the state of Colorado. You are okay. You are whole. And let it go out to everyone sharing in these United States of America. You are okay. You are whole. And it going out to everyone in the North American continent. You are okay. You are whole. And to everyone on every continent in the world, you are okay. You are whole. and it going out to bring about that harmony and healing needed between all creatures and mankind, and the acceptance that we are together okay. We are whole. And it continuing to bless all of the oceans and all of the vegetation on planet Earth, all of the forests, all of the deserts, all life on planet Earth blessed in the recognition of our interconnectedness with this divine intelligence and love we acknowledge to be the Creator. As we pray, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And God is love. To this we say, Amen. We will take an offering for unity now. We need one more offering taker. You can do this. All right. As we take our offerings in our hands, let's bless them with this offering statement. Divine love is my true life and my conscious destiny. Therefore, I give. Together, please. Divine love is my true life and my conscious destiny. Therefore, I give.
All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. Ishkala mabud lila, Ishkala mabud lila, Ishkala mabud lila, Ishkala mabud lila. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. All I ask of you is forever to remember me as loving you. Ishkala mabud lila, Ishkala mabud lila, Ishkala mabud lila, Ishkala mabud lila.